Hi, this is an introduction to neuro-linguistic programming. A lot has been said and written about this subject, and it has wide areas of application. What I'm attempting to do in this particular talk is to simply offer an introduction and to tell you how you have possibly been using NLP every day of your lives without really knowing it as such. A simple way in which neuro-linguistic programming works in our day-to-day lives is through the use of our language. Right? Think about, forget external dialogues, think about internal dialogues. Think about what is the language that you use with yourself. Do you talk in terms of, hey, I'm so great, I'm really talented in this area? Or do you talk in terms of, I'm pathetic, I can't get anything right? The emotional content in both these sentences is really different. It doesn't matter whether you've said this outside of yourself or not, but the very fact that you're having this internal dialogue means that there is a certain programming which has happened in your brain about yourself, and that will reflect in terms of your self-esteem, in terms of your confidence, and therefore in terms of the way your relationships and your work professionally turns out. Therefore, it's important that we mind our self-dialogue. It is a useful process to sit in quiet meditation or just simply in a calm space for a couple of minutes a day. You could even do this maybe a couple of minutes before you go to sleep and think about this and really listen to yourself when you do this. Ask yourself, how was my day? How did I think I performed today? And listen to your own answer. If you're hearing a lot of self-beating sentences, if you hear a lot of guilt about things, then you know somewhere the programming is present, but it's not really healthy, it's not really working for you. It's time to shift that programming into healthy statements. It may not be drastically positive, but you could at least neutralize the statements to begin with. You could simply say something like, I did try my best to do something today, and I think I could do better tomorrow, right? And that could lead to better programming for yourself in the days to come. And it's a conscious process that you can do just about 2 minutes a day, every day, anytime that you choose to. Another way in which NLP is used in our day-to-day lives is through what is called the process of pacing. Pacing happens at various levels. In the NLP sense of the term, pacing begins with matching the speed and the depth of breath of another person. That's when you pace with a person. And what happens through the process of pacing is you are in calibration, physiological calibration with another person, thus opening up the doors for better dialogues, better conversations, and perhaps even better convincing possibilities with the other person. So we often pace unconsciously. Think about a time when somebody walked into your room, it could be a friend or a colleague, and that person happened to be depressed. And by the time it was the end of the meeting, you also started feeling depressed and low. Although nothing happened to you personally, you just happened to be with that person and you started feeling low. It happened because somewhere unconsciously you paced the person. In the process of the dialogue, you happened to match the breath of the person, you happen to match the body language, you happen to match perhaps even the emotional state of the person, and therefore you let yourself be pulled down by that emotional state. So therefore, is pacing dangerous? No. The good news is we can pace consciously, which means that if you happen to come across such a person who happens to feel low, by all means pace the person, which means try and consciously match the breath, try and consciously match the tone of voice, the body language of the person. But the important thing is you're doing this consciously, which means when you feel that you are in calibration, in sync with this person, make yourself feel happy, think about something joyous, think about a nice memory. And what happens because you are in physiological sync is that the other person starts feeling better. So pacing can be used absolutely positively and consciously as well. And this is an aspect of neuro-linguistic programming that all of us can easily use any day of our lives, anytime we choose to.